Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand launching and oath-taking ceremonies of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated. Surely, we're going to have a blast today. I believe everyone can't wait to see how everything comes together as the AIDE team, led by the founder and Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Lynne A. Ciocon, had been working in putting up the association and organizing long-awaited event. Despite our being separated by time and location, AIDE has brought us together through virtual communication platforms, binding us with its well-crafted vision and mission and leading us towards a successful endeavor. As Dinesh Paliwal wrote, collaboration is the key part of the success of any organization, executed through a clearly defined vision and mission and based on transparency and constant communication. May we then start this activity with a prayer to be offered by Reverend Felix Sermon. Reverend Sermon, please.
Let us pray. Our gracious and loving God, we are so thankful for this opportunity to be gathered together to participate in this great launching of our AIDEs. I pray, Father, for your continued blessing upon each officers who are being inducted today, for we know that as we work together and as we continue to do things that glorifies your name, we know that your wisdom will be upon us through your Holy Spirit. We ask that you will be with each one of us as we continue, Lord, to accomplish the mission and vision of the organization, that as we continue to serve our colleagues in so many ways, to collaborate and work with them according to your will and according to your plan. May your wisdom be upon each one of us so we'll be able to achieve what we have identified as our mission for this organization. Father, I pray for your Holy Spirit to be our guide, be with each participant, be with all the officers that will be inducted today. We thank you so much for your presence. Even though we know that we are far from each other, Lord, you are in the midst of us. And may you bless this gathering tonight through Zoom. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Sermon. Now, the singing of the National Star-Spangled Banner of the United States of America, to be followed by the singing of the Lupang Hinirang of the Philippines.
Alam magiging pinagkasinakanan, alam ng puso sa naging-ko'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tulad ka ng magiging, sa manlulupin, di ka masisiyo. Sa nagkakatulo, sa simulat, sa langit ang parang, ang labang tula at awit sa pagkayang inamahan. Ang isang nagwatawang ko'y tagumpay na nalilig. Ang ikuwin katawang na kailan ang may kinagtilig. Luwan ang araw na ay pagsilang ay naging sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na may marami at namatay ng dahil sa'yo. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes
She is creative because she comes up with ideas that others have not considered before. She is assertive because she is clear about what she wants without being aggressive. She is tenacious because she takes chances and risks when trying to achieve her goals. She is generous because she is happier providing for others than providing for herself. She is inspiring because she acts in a way that encourages others. And lastly, she is magnetic as she draws people to one goal as if they are pulled by a magnetic force. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a resounding virtual applause for the empowered woman behind AIDE Incorporated for her opening remarks. I give you the founder and chief executive officer, Mrs. Lynne A. Ciocon.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. May I start by saying this? Productive and amazing things have actually been invented while ideas swim in the mind of an inventor. The realities of today where previously dreams originated from the mind. Something took place in my mind July of 2021 in the early days of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated's inception. I envisioned a platform for multidisciplinary journal publication for educators, professionals, and researchers that would branch out internationally. The day has finally arrived to make the vision a reality. Today is the most awaited debut of this association, making this dream come true. I am completely convinced that the events, ideas, and things we experience, devising and formulating in our minds can be generated into tangible reality. Research-based and science-backed up researches in all disciplines that would be the basis for excellent strategies to tackle problems confronting humanity in the field of education, medicine, politics, science, and many more. I am thinking big. I would like to remind you that big things started small. That's how ambitious our association is. By God's grace and mercy, my hope and prayer, coupled with your wholehearted cooperation and commitment to the deal of AIDE, our organization would blast to the limelight in the international arena of educational research and development as it pursues the mission of advancing internationalization. Let's turn to God for guidance, inspiration, and wisdom in the conduct of our operation as an organization dedicated to improving the world we inhabit. I believe with God's presence, we will never fail. He will not leave us nor forsake us when we trust in Him, not on our own knowledge or strength or capabilities. Let's start implementing our association's lofty and noble goals, fulfilling its mission or actualize its vision with vigor and carry it on with enthusiasm. This is an association that will definitely succeed with the we power and not I. AIDE Incorporated will observe a culture of collaborative, transformational leadership. Therefore, my challenge to my fellow officers, board of directors, and friends, it's incumbent upon everyone to go tell the world that this organization exists until every corner of the world boasts of an existing energetic aid satellites in every region. Before I will end this remark, I would like to leave a food of thought. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. By Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you and mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ciocon, for those inspiring and welcoming words. And surely all members of the AIDE Incorporated are accepting the challenge to tell the whole world that AIDE is existing in the research arena. This surely will make us more committed and engaged with our association. Thank you very much. We now come to the most awaited event, the launching of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated. And to start the launching activity, may we be informed of the vision, mission, goals, and objectives of AIDE Incorporated. This time, let's give the Zoom spotlight to our Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Ramona T. Tabang.
I am muted. Good morning and good evening again. Can I share my screen? Share. Okay, my task is to present to you the mission, the vision, mission, goals, and values of our association. Okay, the vision of the AIDES, or the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, it is a publishing platform that is inclusive, non-discriminant, collaborative, and innovative, allowing academic development, exposure, and opportunities to aspiring researchers. Our mission is to advance internationalization through research developments of the new era. Our goal is to provide multidisciplinary professional fora with best practices and shared expertise among its members, from sustainable scholarly publishing and international levels certification in the field of education. And our values is to think and act creatively, critically, collaboratively, and Christianly. That's our goals, our vision, goals, mission, and values. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tabang. I guess we have to start memorizing now the vision, the mission, the goals, and the values. Who knows? Ma'am Lynne and Ma'am Tabang might give a quiz after this, and we might get no score if you don't start memorizing it now. Just kidding. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have to keep it in our hearts. That's part of our commitment to the AIDE Incorporated. And to present to us the stalwart members of the AIDE Board of Directors, we welcome the Vice President for Communications and Business Development, Mr. Raymond R. Rosales. Mr. Rosales, please.
You all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to apologize right away because this is going to take a while. I have a long list of prominent people for me. So let me start with our Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Lynne Ciocon, born on July 6, 1966, from Carmen, North Cotabato. Parents of Ernesto and Noemi Agustando, married to Mr. Benigno Ciocon. Blessed with 3 children, Joy, Ray, and Jay. Teaching experience, Philippines, 14 years. Bronx, New York, public school for 3 years in special ed. Prince George's County Public School Systems, 13 years and counting. And presently taking PhD, Educational Management at CSU, and founder of our AIDE. The second person in the board of directors is Dr. Ramona Tabang, the Chief Operating Officer. Came to the US in September 2005, taught science at the Baltimore City Public Schools for 7 years. She also taught in Science Park in Newark, New Jersey, and she was a consultant at the World Bank in 2012-2013. At present, she is teaching at Prince George's County Public School Systems, handling chemistry and other areas of science. Graduated BS in Chemistry, Master's in Education Management, Doctorate in Technology Education, and a second master's degree in Special Ed here in Notre Dame, Maryland University, here in the US. The third member of the board of directors is yours truly, Mr. Raymond Rosales. I am the Human Resource Specialist for Prince George's County Public School System. So basically, I'm the one signing up to hire new teachers in the county. I live in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, married to Joanne with 2 kids of our own, 16 and 14. My parents are from Bataan, and my house is in Antipolo right now. And I was born in Quezon City and studied in Manila. So you have a picture. I'm all over the place. I taught biology in UST, University of Santo Tomas, where I graduated Bachelor's of Biochemistry, and Assumption College before I moved to the US. I have taught general science and biology in the US for 12 years before I got promoted to the evaluation office, and then got promoted again in 2016, currently right now as a human resources specialist. I graduated from UST and attended Ateneo de Manila University for my master's, and finished my master's degree in the US at Coppin State University in Baltimore, and now currently taking my doctoral degree at University of Dayton in Dayton, Ohio. The fourth person on the board of directors is Dr. Marilyn Cawilan, married to M. Salvador Arugay Cawilan. She is the Vice President of Academic Affairs for CSU since January 2014 up to present time. The OIC of the Office of University President, February 23rd, 2016 up to October 6, 2016. Director of Quality Assurance in 2012-2013. University Dean of Instruction, May 2012 to December 2013. Director of Student Services and Welfare, 2006 to 2012. Dean of College of Public Administration from 2004 to 2006. OIC University Dean of Students in 2002 and 2003. Assistant University Dean of Students, 1999 to 2002. Program Head, 1998 to 1999. Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication, Assistant University Information Officer from 1997 to 2000. January 1996 to January to June of 1996, FBN DZCV Tuguegarao AM radio station manager. 1996 in January to June of 1996. August 1985 to December 1995, Raha Broadcasting Network from Disc Jockey to DWRJ-FM Tuguegarao production manager. She is now the Professor 3 Professor teaching public administration subjects. Expert services, seasoned accreditor for state universities and college and university. Resource person in various national and regional conferences. Thesis dissertation, advisor panelists in various oral defenses and graduate program. Hang on tight, guys. We have some more. The fifth board of director is the executive vice president professional development, Dr. Narcitas Owano. Dr. Biado Owano is a professor for at the same time the campus executive officer of Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira campus. With her 35 years of service, Dr. Owano is considered as one of the seasoned administrators and professors of the Cagayan State University. Rising through the ranks, she started as an ordinary faculty member. During her first year in the academy, then she became the principal of the Laboratory High School of CSU Sanchez Mira and was designated as the college dean from 2005 to 2016. And as the campus executive officer from November 2016 up to present, and as the campus CEO of Sanchez Mira, her leadership stint has always been guided by her motto, achieving change rather than standards. In 1997, she was sent by CSU to Australia as a scholar under the Project in Basic Education, PROBE, a program between the Philippine and Australian government. As a PROBE fellow, she has written a number of curriculum support materials for language teaching, with the resource book on collaborative learning as her major output. Also, her commitment to quality assurance in education is exemplified in her being an accreditor of the Accrediting Agency of Chartered Colleges and Universities in the Philippines. As a researcher, she has already published various research articles in international refereed journals and have presented research outputs along language learning, inclusivity, climate change, migratory birds, etc. in national and international research fora. Dr. Owano was also awarded as Outstanding Researcher of the Philippines and was also given a Diamond Award for research and presentation during the International Conference in Social Sciences, Health Environment held in Sydney, Australia in 2013. She is also an active regular member of the National Research Council of the Philippines, NRCP, a distinguished and collegial body of highly trained and productive scientists and researchers in the Philippines. In addition to her awards, Dr. Owano also received the Outstanding Leadership and Education Award from Unified during the Unified Summit 2019 held in General Santos City. As regards her educational background, Dr. Owano completed her BSc major in English at MMSU Lawag, gained her Master's of Arts in Education major in English at St. Paul University Tuguegarao, and finished her PhD in Education major in Development Education in CSU Tuguegarao City. Our next board of director is the Chief Executive Vice President for Finance, Mrs. Melinda Ramirez. Mrs. Melinda Ramirez graduated of Bachelor of Business Administration in Silliman University, Dumaguete, Philippines in 1984. After graduating from Silliman University, continued her education at the University of San Carlos, Cebu City, where she pursued her Bachelor in Elementary Education degree and finished Master's in Education Management in the year 2000. And she taught at the University of San Carlos, Cebu City as a full-time instructor in the College of Education for 15 years before migrating to the US in 2005. And since then, she was teaching general education at the elementary level in Prince George's County Public Schools. She lives in Waldorf, Maryland with her husband and 3 children, and now working towards her PhD in Education Management at Cagayan State University. The next board of director is Executive Vice President for Events, Mr. Sherwin Alcones. Sherwin Francisca Alcones is a graduate of AB Behavioral Science from the University of Santo Tomas. She also graduated with a Master's of Arts in Leadership and Teaching from Notre Dame of Maryland University. She also completed her postgraduate studies from Cornell University in New York and earned her license as a work incentive and benefits counselor. She is also the founder of Alcones and Associates LLC Maryland. She has also worked for 20 years in the education industry and currently working as a special education teacher, IEP team, instructional lead in Baltimore City Public School Systems. Ms. Alcones is a certified grant writer and a recipient of Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation grant for school reform K-12 education as a school improvement champion. The next we have on the board of directors is the Executive Vice President for Global Affairs, Dr. Ramelin Bautista. Dr. Bautista holds a degree of Doctor of Philosophy, major in Education Management, and she teaches professional education subjects in the undergraduate and graduate courses. She has assumed some designations at CSU at Sanchez Mira, where she employed for almost 13 years. She also designated as college student government advisor for 4 years. At the same time, Youth Sama-sama para sa Edukasyon at Hikain ni Cristo advisor. National Service Training Coordinator for 4 years, Income Generating Project, Coordinator for 1 year, Coordinator Gender and Development from 2016 to present. On numerous events, she has also created and served as a resource speaker to symposia, seminars, trainings, and workshops on gender and development from local to regional for teachers and students. The next we have for the board of directors is the communication director, Dr. John Kit Masigan. He is a full-time elementary and high school teacher who also serves as a lecturer in the college, master's, and doctoral programs. Teacher Kit, as he has fondly called, knew since childhood that he is, in his heart, have a spot for children. He worked his way to be a licensed professional teacher and pursued graduate studies, earning his PhD degree in rhetoric and linguistics at the age of 24. In his simple desire to contribute to nation's building, he founded the project True Greener Rao for a Greener Tugigarao, which is an environmental awareness campaign and is crafted to strengthen familiar participation through an interactive brochure-style activity, fun sheet containing economics and children games. After having been named as one of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines in 2014, he had the chance to study University of Montana, United States of America through the YESL Academic Fellowship in 2017. Moreover, he served as Philippine Youth Ambassador to Japan and ASEAN countries through the 46th SSYEAP and Genesis program. He is also a freelance events host, a motivational speaker, and an author. His inspirational talks revolve around campus and community leadership, personality development, skills training, public speaking, work communication, written communication, personal branding, and career development. The next we have in the board of directors is the budgeting and accounting director, Mr. Karsten Ramirez. He graduated from University of Maryland Global Campus, where he completed a bachelor's degree in accounting and business administration. After graduating, pursued an accounting intern position that specialized in financial reporting, business economics, external auditing and compliance, and tax preparation and regulations. Throughout his journey as an intern, he was able to learn and adopt exceptional customer service and accounting experiences and that equipped his skills as a whole. In a couple of months, the management decided to promote him as the accountant of the office, where his skills were harnessed exponentially. Eventually, he applied as staff accountant in Washington Accounting Services, where he was given the opportunity to leverage his management skills and widen his knowledge in the technicalities of the accounting industry. Currently, he is the candidate to become certified public accountant, certified management accountant, and a tax preparer accountant. He is pursuing his master's degree in accounting next year, which is a requirement for many advanced certificates and licenses. The next we have is the Board of Directors Digital Programs and Products Director, Mr. Daniel Ursulum. He is a faculty member of TSU Sanchez Mira, Cagayan, from June 2008 up to present. Master's degree also from CSU Sanchez Mira, Master in Information Technology in 2010 to 2012, and currently tertiary at CSU Sanchez Mira, Cagayan, Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, major in Computer Science from 2003 to 2007. The next we have is our Business and Development Foundation Operations Director, Dr. Roderick Roralio. Dr. Roralio has a degree in philosophy and education, married to Jane Roralio, lives in Laurel, Maryland, from Sanchez Mira, Cagayan as well. He is currently the 4th grade teacher and science and math teacher at Glenarden Woods Elementary School in Prince George's County Public School, which is a blue ribbon tagged school in the county. He also graduated at CSU Sanchez Mira, Cagayan, 18 years of teaching experiences. The next we have is our membership director, Mrs. Evangeline Bontogon. Is a genuine Ilocana married to Arlie, a Bisayano, and was blessed with 3 children, Mark, Ann, and Ella, who are all now professionals. She has been a teacher for more than 30 years. She has taught at St. Joseph College in Quezon City for 9 years, Ateneo de Manila University for 11 years, and at present she's teaching at Prince George's County Public Schools in Maryland as a science and math special education teacher at Samuel Ogle Middle School.
I think Sir Ray is. Let's just wait for Sir Ray to get back to the room. Maybe he's trying to reconnect.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, Sir Ray, we can hear.
Okay, I'm sorry, we have a technical problem here, but anyway, I'm going to continue. I'm with Mrs. Bontogon. She finished BS Biology and Masters of Arts in Special Education in the Philippines. Our next board of director is Professional Development Director, Dr. Rodel Francisco T. Alegado. He is currently the Dean of Graduate School at CSU Sanchez Mira from August 2015 to present. Academic rank from 2018 to present. Associate Professor 5, CSU Sanchez Mira. Associate Professor 5. PhD in Education, major in Development Education, Cagayan State University, Tuguegarao in 2010. Master of Arts in English, CSU Tuguegarao in 2007. The next we have on the board of directors is the Research and Publication Director, Dr. Shella Kakatian. Full-fledged accredited Professor 3. She currently serves as the Campus Coordinator for Research and Development at the Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira campus. She is a researcher, having published 18 researches in local, national, international refereed research journals and presented at different research fora. Along the way, she received several awards and recognitions as researcher, research speaker, and peer reviewer. To keep abreast of the new developments in the field of research, she joins professional organizations and attends local, national, international training seminars, workshops, and conferences. The next board of director is the Director for Publications, Action, Social Research, Dr. Janeline Agbayani. Dr. Agbayani is Associate Professor 3 of the CSU, finished the following degrees: Doctor of Philosophy and Educational Management in 2009, and was awarded Outstanding in Oral Defense for her dissertation titled Predictors of English Performance of College Freshmen, Master of Arts in English with her thesis Higher Order Thinking Skills of CSU College Freshmen in 2004 at CSU Caritan, Tuguegarao, and Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in English in 2000, magna cum laude. At the same University, Sanchez Mira campus. She has been serving her alma mater as a faculty member since June 2000, teaching professional and major English courses. She has designated different posts for being an advisor of campus student government and student publication, coordinator for student services and welfare 2007, dean of the College of Hospitality Industry Management in 2012, then the campus gender and development focal person, which paved her way to becoming an international gender and peace advocate with the Center for Development and Ethnic Studies, and did the research titled Gender Awareness of the Civil Society Organizations in Myanmar. She was also designated the campus director for partnership and resource mobilization 2017, then instructional materials development coordinator and alumni relations and placement coordinator in 2019. At the same time, which did make her contribute to the module in ethics now being utilized for evaluation in the university. She is currently the campus coordinator for Extension and Training Office. She also edited, co-authored literary book in Ilocos titled Abrasa in 2015. She is a trained member of the accredited agency of the Chartered Colleges and Universities in the Philippines since April 2013. Hold on tight, guys. This is the last but not the least. Board of Director, the Senior Director for Editorial, Dr. Verlino Badu. Dr. Badu is an assistant professor for CSU Sanchez Mira campus. Currently, he is the designated Chief of Staff in the Office of the Campus Executive Officer of CSU SM. He finished his PhD in Education and Master of Arts in Education, major in Education Management and English from CSU. He also graduated as cum laude in his degree Bachelor of Secondary Education, which he took from the same university. In his 40 years in the academy, he has been teaching English major courses as well as professional course in both the College of Teacher Education and in the graduate school. In 2019, he was a recipient of the Most Influential Teacher Award given by United Federation of Film Educators Incorporated. That's all, folks. I hope I didn't bore you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rosales, for introducing to us the members of the Board of Directors of AIDE Incorporated. Now that we have met our AIDE directors, it's also high time that we introduce the equally hardworking global officers of AIDE. I think I have more officers to introduce. We start with the Executive Assistant, Mr. Edgardo Sadul. For Daniel, do we have a slide for the global officers? Thank you. The Executive Assistant, Mr. Edgardo Sadul. Mr. Sadul is a man of God. He likes to help people as his mission in life. He is a retired high school teacher at Prince George's Public School, Maryland. The manager for marketing and communication, Dr. Edita Pagulayan, who has been in the service for 43 years now, 2 years as a social worker with Plan International, 41 years in the teaching ministry, 27 years at St. Paul University, Philippines. She is currently the Dean of the Graduate School of Cagayan State University. She also has held varied designations in the university as College Dean, Student Welfare and Development Director, and Director for the Office of Instruction. Next is the Event Operations Manager, Ms. Hannah Joy A. Ciocon, born on June 23 at Coronadal South, Cotabato, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Benigno Ciocon. She finished his elementary from School King's College, her high school at Lehman High School in New York, and she also finished her Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Special Education from Bowie University at Maryland. And presently, she is a SPED teacher at Prince George's County Public School in Maryland. She is also working on her Master of Arts in Educational Management at Cagayan State University Graduate School. Mrs. Janice Magaway is the Continuing Education Programs Manager. Mrs. Magaway is married with 2 kids. She lives in Waldorf, Maryland, USA. She's from Manila. She finished her Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics from Philippine Normal University, her Master of Arts in Educational Management at University of Santo Tomas, Philippines, Master of Arts in Mathematics Education from Western Governors University in Utah, USA, Doctor of Philosophy in Education. She's currently taking Doctor of Philosophy in Education from Cagayan State University Graduate School. She's working on Pathway to EASL certification since 2021 at Prince George's County Public Schools, MBUSA. She also has certification in Youth Mental Health First Aid. She also holds the following certificates: Google Certification Level 1 and Common Sense Education Certificate as part of the Transforming Education Through Digital Learning of Maryland State Department of Education. She's been teaching for 21 years now. She taught for 8 years at St. Jude Catholic School in Malacanang, Philippines, 10 years at Cado Parish School District in Louisiana, USA, and 3 years at Prince George's County Public Schools in USA. Next is the Digital Programs and Products Manager, Mr. Kevin Kirk Saveri Ramirez, who is a graduate of Bachelor in Computer Science from UMGC or University of Maryland Global Campus. He is currently self-employed. Next is Dr. Freddy P. Masuli, the Web Content Specialist. He is a servant of God, the environment, and humanity. He is a graduate of BS in Information and Computer Sciences, but the calling of teaching was so strong that he landed as Information Technology Instructor at Alejandro Colleges in Quezon City, Araneta de la Salle University in Malabon, Metro Manila, and now at the Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira Campus. He is an Associate Professor 4. He was Academic Dean of the College of Information Computing Sciences, formerly the College of Information Technology, for 11 years. He is, at present, the Campus Coordinator of Partnerships and Resource Mobilization of CSU Sanchez Mira. He considers himself as son of the farm, and he is dreaming to retire someday in a piece of lot to be a caretaker of some animals and plants and a leader of farmers. Next is the Disaster and Devastation Manager, Mr. Omar Ponce D. Rodriguez. He is a special education teacher and school test coordinator at William S. Baer School in Baltimore City. He has a specialization as ASD, MD, ID, and ED. Advanced Professional Certificate is Generic Special Education. And the next is the Manager on School Support, Dr. Ethel Dignadize. Dr. Dignadize is the School Director at King's College of Marble Incorporated from 2015 to present. She finished her Doctor of Education major in Educational Leadership and Management from the University of Visayas, Cebu City. Master in Education major in Special Education from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. And Bachelor of Arts in Christian Education from Fabias College of the Bible at Karuhatan, Valenzuela, Metro Manila. We also have Dr. Catherine B. Karangyan, the Manager on School Support. She finished her Doctor of Philosophy major in Educational Management at Cagayan State University in 2012. She is the Department Chair of the Bachelor in Elementary Education and Bachelor in Early Childhood Education, and in charge of student internship. She taught professional subjects and major subjects in ECE. She stayed with St. Paul University, Philippines for 20 years as ECE teacher. And she's been with Cagayan State University for 13 years now. She lives in San Gabriel Village, Tuguegarao, Cagayan Valley, Philippines. Next is the Scholarship Grants for Teachers and Students Manager, Engineer Alan Lizardo, a chemistry and engineering teacher at Charles Herbert Flowers High School and at Prince George's County Public School. He is a licensed chemical engineer who graduated his Master of Science in Chemical Engineering at UP Diliman. He currently lives in Mitchellville, Maryland, USA. He is from Puerto Galera Oriental, Mindoro. He works as a chemistry and engineering teacher at Charles Herbert Flowers High School in Prince George's County Public School. He earned his bachelor degree in chemical engineering. He has 17 years of teaching experience both in college and in high school, and currently pursuing his PhD degree in education, major in science education. and he plans to be a STEM curriculum developer. Next is Mrs. Ivy T. Lizan. Mr. Ruben J. Ciocon, who is also one of the scholarship grants for teachers and student managers. Mr. Ruben Ciocon is born on May 10, 1994 at Coronadal City, South Cotabato. He finished his elementary at Bronx, New York, his middle school at Tasker Middle School, Maryland, his high school from Bowie High School, and college. He finished his bachelor's in nursing from Bowie University. He is currently a nurse at a doctor's hospital. Next, Mrs. Ivy T. Lizano. She has been working in Foshan, China since 2008 as a homeroom teacher in kindergarten. She has a wide knowledge in the International Baccalaureate Primary Years program. She is an ESL teacher and helped develop the units of inquiry for the schools she worked with for 13 years and counting. She is very passionate in teaching young children ranging from 3 to 6 years old. She is married and blessed with two handsome boys aged 14 and 4. She has a passion in helping and assisting people to go to school, helping them earn university degrees through financial support as a way of sharing blessings to others. This was because she appreciated her foster mother's struggles, who supported her when she was studying. Next, Mr. Benigno R. Ciocon, the Community Outreach Projects Manager, who was born on February 13, 1965, from Banga, South Cotabato. He is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Sevillano and Pasita Ciocon and the husband of Mrs. Lynne Ciocon. They are blessed with 3 children. She taught for 17 years in the Philippines, both in the college and high school levels, and at present, he is a SPED teacher at Prince George's County Public School. Next, Mr. John Taylor, also a community outreach projects manager. Mr. Taylor is married to Joy Butterbonia Taylor and blessed with 1 son, and they live in Jacksonville, Florida. Next, please. Mr. Noel Ray A. Ciocon, the medical mission manager, born on December 26, 1992 at Coronadal, South Cotabato. Finished his elementary from King's College, middle school from John Philip Sousa, New York, high school from Bowie High School, and college from, he finished his bachelor's in nursing from Bowie University and currently working as a nurse at the doctor's hospital. Next is Mrs. Norma S. Tumbali, the membership operations manager. She is a graduate of Master of Science in Teaching Biology and Associate in Arts for Early Childhood Education. She is married and they have 1 daughter, currently lives in Laurel, Maryland, USA, and she's originally from Tuguegarao City, Cagayan. She currently works as a pre-kindergarten teacher at Ardmore Elementary School in Prince George's County Public Schools, Maryland, USA. She graduated at St. Paul University, Philippines, Tuguegarao City, and University of the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. She has 21 years of teaching experience. Next is Miss Rubilin Santos, Member Services Coordinator, single, lives in Capunduan Subdivision, Barangay General Paulino Santos, City of Coronadal, South Cotabato. She finished her Bachelor of Degree at Notre Dame of Marble University with a degree Bachelor in Elementary Education, major in Music, Arts, and Physical Education in March 2015. She earned 30 units in Master of Arts in Education in Educational Management at the same school. Presently, she is teaching at Marble 3 Elementary School at the city of Coronadal. She is a grade 5 advisor teaching English and Mape. She is also the feeding coordinator from 2016 to present, health and nutrition coordinator, and mental health coordinator. She has previous experiences in working as a teacher at the Westminster School of Dubai, UAE, as a music teacher from 2008 to 2013. Next is Miss Joyce Grace D. Pero, training manager, single, foreign lecturer at Prince of Songkla University, Surat Thani Campus, Surat Thani Province, Thailand. English teacher from 2015 to 2016 at Nakhon Ratchasima College of Agriculture and Technology, Nakhon Ratchasima Province, Thailand. And English teacher at Ted Saban 1, Tungpabodra Bumrung School, Chiang Mai Province, Thailand. Next is Mr. John Joseph Tabang, also a training manager. Mr. Tabang is a graduate of Master of Science in Human Development Psychology and Master of Business Administration. He is a mixed martial arts champion in Balikatan MMA and Davao Urban Fighting Championship. He is the first ever MMA training for the Marine Special Forces, 13th Battalion, Philippines. He has customer service experience. He is a customer service experience workshop provider under FISAF or FISAF International. He is a small business owner of 426 Consultancy providing fitness, nutrition, and peak performance coaching for professionals. And he is also an international tutor for doctors and teachers. Next. Dr. Fermin G. Castillo Jr. is an associate professor in Dubai UAE Filipino Institute with almost 20 years of teaching experience, both in the Philippines and abroad. He is an industry and corporate practitioner in the Negros Navigation, BPI, MS, and Nestle Philippines. He holds a postdoctoral degree in total quality management in higher education from CEU, Doctor of Business Administration, one of the youngest. He graduated at the age of 26. And in University of Manila, pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila. He is a candidate PhD in management at the UTM Malaysia, youngest Filipino professor with academic rank of associate professor in UAE, first and only Filipino to date to teach at the University of Sarha, AACSB top 3 in UAE, first Filipino who completed the case teaching method offered at Harvard Business School, one of only 2 Filipino professors who completed the Innovation and Entrepreneurship program offered at Stanford University in coordination with MOE and UAE, first Filipino professor in the world who won the Turnitin Global Awards 2017 in Education, UK, and the recipient of other international awards in teaching, research, and community service, including International Educator Awards given by Unified. One of the only few professors in the world who holds professional license, certification, and board exam in the field of education, business, quality management, and information technology. Published more than 60 research papers and book chapters, which appeared in leading publications, indexed by Elsevier, Thomson Reuters, IEE, Springer, Google Scholar, etc. Participated and presented and attended in more than 150 specialized seminars, workshops, training and development, and consultancy in more than 10 countries. Because of his reputation in the academic community, he was invited by Filipino Institute as adjunct associate professor in the MBA program. He is also an international lecturer in various institutions in India and a visiting faculty in Binary University in Malaysia, handling doctorate levels since 2015. Aside from teaching, he is also involved in conducting free review for special professional licensure examinations for teachers, where their group captures top 1 in the elementary level and top 2 secondary level in the SPLE 2019 LET examination. Outside the academy, he is a philanthropist in helping fellow kababayan in giving and donating food and other essentials. Recently, he is giving scholarship grants for postgraduate OFW who would like to take their studies to the next level. Next. Mrs. Ruby M. Rodriguez, a graduate of Master of Arts in Teaching, major in Biology, married, lives in Maputo, Mozambique, Southern Africa. She's from Tuguegarao City, and currently she is the upper primary language teacher at Grandeur International School in Maputo City, Mozambique. She graduated at St. Paul University, Cagayan, Philippines, and she has 24 years of teaching experience. Next, please. Engineer Erickson M. Lizano, also a training manager, is a mechanical engineer who has been in the field of education since 2003. He started teaching at the College of Engineering of the University of Mindanao in the Philippines. He taught mathematics and engineering sciences before moving to Shandong province in China to teach mathematics among high school students. He is a math teacher currently working at Guangdong Country Garden School in Foshan, China, as athletic director and head librarian. He is a trained teacher librarian who worked with libraries in Indonesia, Philippines, and China since 1998. Life in China helped him a lot in quickly adapting to different environments and developing intercultural awareness. Next, please. Mr. John Lester Fabian is a biology instructor at Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira campus. He has been in the field of education for a number of years, teaching from basic to the graduate program. He is a product of Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira, and he finished his Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Biological Sciences cum laude and Master of Science in Teaching major in Biology from the same university. He was involved in research as a study leader and project leader. He was awarded as an outstanding researcher in 2019 under Research Ratna Awards. Next. Mr. Erwin G. Raralio the publication assistant is a graduate of Master of Arts in Education, major in Educational Management. He is married and he lives in Bituang, Pamplona, Cagayan Valley, Philippines. He is a master teacher too of Sanchez Mira Central Elementary School, Sanchez Mira, Cagayan. He is the grade 6 SPED class advisor, the campus journalism coordinator, English coordinator, school information coordinator, and the school paper advisor. He graduated at Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira, Cagayan. He has 15 years of teaching experience in the public schools and 6 years of teaching experience in the private school. Next, please. Mrs. Jennifer S. Cheng is the manager for publications in science and technology. Mrs. Cheng is a high school science teacher, AP Environmental Science, AP Biology, Honors Biology, author and publisher of children's books. She has she has professional experiences in UCLAAP as UCLAAP coordinator in San Pedro High School, chairperson in the science department, San Pedro High School from 2018 to 2019, and Galapagos Outreach Head during the 2017 project-based learning at Ecuador. If she is the project-based learning, she gained her certificate program in project-based learning from the University of Pennsylvania from 2019 to 2020. And she also finished her Master of Arts in Education, major in Instruction and Curriculum at Ateneo de Naga University from 1993 to 1995. She also attended the Graduate School of Education, Multicultural Education at University of Baguio from 2003 to 2004. She finished her Bachelor of Science from Ateneo de Naga University in 1992 with major in biology with methods of Philippines teaching. Next, please. Dr. Manny S. Alipio is Publications, Information, and Technology. Currently is the College Dean of the College of Information and Computing Sciences. Dr. Alipio is an Associate Professor too in Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira Campus. He is an accreditor under the Accrediting Agency of Chartered Colleges and Universities in the Philippines, or AACO. He also served as the College Dean of the College of Industrial Technology from 2010 to 2018 and a faculty member in the College of Information and Computing Sciences from 2010, from 2001 to 2010. Next. Mrs. Lourdes M. Padirayon is the Manager for Publications, Information, and Technology. She is currently the Campus Quality Assurance Coordinator and a faculty member of the College of Information and Computing Sciences of the Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira. Mrs. Padirayon received her Master of Information Technology at the University of the Cordilleras in Baguio City and currently writing her dissertation for Doctor in Information and Technology at the same university. Her research focuses on data mining, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. She has conducted and published researches and has served as a resource person to research and e-learning trainings. Next, please. Mr. Ernesto Pamolarco is the Manager for Publications Newsletter. He was an English journalism teacher at Quiapo Parochial School from 1990 to 1992. He was also a teacher at Bagong Barrio National High School from 1992 to 1996 and in Caloocan High School from 1996 to 2003. He served as education supervisor for guidance, research, and evaluation and information technology at the Division of City Schools, Caloocan City from 2003 to 2005. With a single entry, 2-week tourist visa, he left for the United States in America in May 2005 to search for a greener pasture. He was able to maintain his legal status by changing his tourist B1 visa to student F1 visa until such time that he found an employer who sponsored him to get a working H1B visa in 2009. Currently, he is a special education teacher at NYC Department of Education and the president and CEO of Youth Success Global Foundation Incorporated, a nonprofit organization that provides support and training to at-risk and disadvantaged youth of all colors and creed, to equip them with the necessary skills to make them become productive members of the society. He is also the chairman of the DBS-NY, a political organization that supports President Duterte and his administration. He is also the pursuant of the Order of the Knights for Rizal, New York chapter. Next, please. Mrs. Jane S. Faralio is the technical writing editor, married, and lives in Laurel, Maryland, USA. She is from Bagao, Cagayan Valley, Philippines. She has 21 years of teaching experience and currently a second grade reading English language and arts teacher at Prince George's County Public Schools, Maryland, USA, as a new employee. Next. Dr. Melba B. Rosales, another technical writing editor, is an associate professor 5 at the Cagayan State University Sanchez Mira campus. At present, she is the dean of the College of Teacher Education of the said campus. As an instructor and administrator, she has always displayed commitment and dedication to her work. In 2019, August, she received the Influential Teacher of the Year Award from the Unified. Next, please. Dr. Alan de la Cruz is another technical writing editor, a graduate of Doctor of Philosophy major in English Language Education, Master of Arts major in English, and Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English from Cagayan State University Andrews Campus, Tuguegarao City. At present, he is a campus academic affairs and instructional materials coordinator and teaches basic and major English language and literature subjects in the undergraduate and graduate programs of the Cagayan State University. A teacher for 19 years now and a family man of 3 kids. He is an associate professor, a book author at Weisman's Books Trading Incorporated and St. Andrew Publishing House, a peer reviewer of Academic Journal of Interdisciplinary Studies, and a researcher having published research articles in national and international refereed research journals. Next, please. Dr. Florentina G. Reyes is the statistician from Sanchez Mira, Cagayan Valley, an associate professor and a licensed professional teacher specializing in mathematics. She completed her Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Management degree at Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira, earned her master's degree at St. Paul University, Philippines, and undergraduate at St. Louis University College, Tuguegarao City. She has 30 years of teaching experience. She teaches mathematics and professional education subjects in the undergraduate and graduate courses, and one of the statisticians of researchers at Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira campus. Dr. Reyes currently serves as the campus coordinator for student development and welfare. Please. Dr. Ronald Cachero, also a statistician, is a graduate of Doctor of Philosophy, major in Educational Management, Master of Science in Teaching, major in Mathematics, and Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira. He has been teaching mathematics, statistics, research, and professional education subjects. At present, he is an ISO internal auditor of Cagayan State University and the campus planning officer of CSU Sanchez Mira campus. He has been a presenter in local, national, and international research fora and published research articles in national refereed journal. Next. Dr. Bruce Alsheimer, a graduate of BS Mathematics from Wheaton College, 1983, MS Statistics from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 1986, finished his PhD in statistics from North Carolina State University in 1995. He taught college-level mathematics at King's College of Marbel, Coronadal, Philippines from 1985 to 1990 and served as teaching assistant at UNC Chapel Hill and NCSU. He is presently employed as a senior analytics test manager at SAS Institute, Cary, North Carolina, has worked as a statistical software tester and test manager since 1995. He has 6.5 years of teaching experience. Next. We now have the list of consultants for the AIDE. We start with Dr. Antonio Tamayao, consultant for AIDE. Dr. Tamayao is a Professor 3 at the Cagayan State University and currently the project leader of the CSU DARE to K-12 research and a book writer a researcher, a journal peer reviewer, and a resource speaker in various seminars and trainings. He published 2 textbooks in Rex Bookstore and also published papers in international refereed journals. Dr. Tony is teaching major subjects in social science, professional education and research subjects in the College of Teacher Education and the Graduate School of Cagayan State University and University of St. Louis. He has served CSU as Discipline Chair of Social Science, Executive Assistant to the University President, University Research Director, and University Planning and Development Director. A licensed teacher in the Philippines and New Zealand, Dr. Tamayao finished Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Social Sciences cum laude and Master of Arts in Education at St. Paul University, Philippines. He earned his PhD in Development Education at Cagayan State University, where he received the Dean's List and Best Dissertation Awards. Dr. Tony was a recipient of several study exchange programs which enriched his exposure to the educational systems abroad. He had educational immersion in Japan as he joined the JICA, ASEAN Educational Administration Group, and served as group supervisor in the Genesis program in 2006 and 2009, respectively. He also joined the group study exchange program, vocational and cultural exchange in the United States of America under the auspices of the Rotary International. During his vocational exchange in the said countries, he represented the Philippines in various discussions and fora, as well as lectured in various colleges and universities. Actively involved in research, Dr. Tony has been a research program leader of PCM College of New Zealand and a research presenter in national and international conferences. He has presented papers in NACEM, Philippine Population Association, and Philippine Sociology Society. Few of his researches were published in the refereed journals of this professional organization. In the recent past, he has presented his researches in Shanghai University, China, University of Hawaii, USA, University Kebangsaan, Malaysia, and University of Queensland, Australia. Moreover, Dr. Tony served as a regional coordinator in national surveys such as Young Adult Fertility and Sexuality Study and National Migration Survey. His research interests are along college readiness, sexuality studies, Ibanag and Ilocano confluence, migration, male adolescent prostitution, poverty, and education. Recently, he was bestowed a Faculty Recognition Award for his contribution in the production and publication of researches in international refereed journals. Next. Mrs. Emily Enolpe is another consultant of AIDE. She is currently employed at DepEd Socsargen Region as Socsargen Region and Regional Coordinator in Abot Alam Program and Alternative Learning System from 2015 to present. She was an elementary grades teacher from 1991 to 2004, master teacher from 2004 to 2010, the division coordinator at DepEd Division of Cotabato City, handling special programs and projects from 2010 to 2012, division education program supervisor at DepEd Cotabato City, handling alternative learning system and school-based management from 2012 to 2014, and the Regional Education Program Supervisor in Field Technical Assistance Division. Next. Dr. Erwin Rimban, a consultant. He is at the forefront of promoting domain interaction and interdisciplinary dialogue among various disciplines of the exoteric fields as well as the esoteric realms. Educated at the University of the Philippines, Manila, where he graduated cum laude, he has obtained degrees in biology, education, and psychology, and continues to learn about various domains which he promotes in his writings: spiritual texts, philosophical treatises, mystical essays, research studies, and academic books. He is also an international columnist, being a regular fixture in the New York Free Spirit online journal. At present, he is a faculty member and the College Executive Secretary of the College of Allied Health Sciences in Cagayan State University Andrews Campus. Also, he is an adjunct faculty in the Graduate School of Philippine Christian University. In his leisure time, he loves to watch MasterChef, plays chess, and cheers for his favorite basketball team, the San Antonio Spurs. Next. Dr. Jean Aguilar is a SPED teacher at Parkdale High School, Maryland, USA, and married to Mr. Jude Aguilar. They are blessed with 4 children. She finished her Doctor of Philosophy major in Educational Management from the University of Baguio, Doctor of Education major in Special Education, MAT-ELL from SWU, MA SPED from USEP, and she worked as community referent instruction from 2021 to 2022, transition coordinator from 2019 to 2021, 2015 to present. She is a special education teacher at Parkdale High School at Prince George's County Public School. Next. Another consultant is Dr. Emriba Nying. Dr. Nying is a math teacher in Parkdale High School, Maryland, USA. Next, please. Mrs. Alcala Herma Italiano, a holder of a certificate of proficiency in applied linguistics, conferred by the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City. She worked in the field of education for approximately 53 years since 1969, and a retired dean of King's College, but now teaching English subjects in college on a part-time basis. Mrs. Iliano is an advisor of the AIDE. Next. Mrs. Lumen Castañeda, another advisor of AIDE who lives in New Jersey, USA, is a founder of the Unified. The founder of the Unified. Next. Dr. Orlinda B. Baterabonia, another advisor. She graduated Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education, Master of Arts in Education, major in Educational Administration, and Doctor of Philosophy, major in Educational Management from Notre Dame of Marble University, Coronadal, South Cotabato. She is a retired education supervisor, 2 of the Department of Education, Regional Office 12, a researcher in elementary mathematics under the United States Agency for International Development from 2007 to 2012. In 2010, she was awarded as the most outstanding elementary school principal of the Department of Education Region 11. Currently, she is the college dean and a member of the Board of Trustees of King's College of Marble Incorporated, and the president of the Retired Teachers and Employees Association, Tampakan Chapter, Tampakan, South Cotabato. Next, please. Another advisor is Mrs. Jeanette Escano, a Labor and Employment Officer 3 of OWA NRCO 12. She lives in Coronadal City, Philippines. Another advisor is Mrs. Cynthia Renee Durham Elsheiber, a graduate of BS Biology from University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She taught various subjects at King's College of Marble, Coronadal, Philippines, both in high school and college departments. Worked in industry as a laboratory technician for several years and was a homeschool teacher for 12 years. Currently, she is managing personal rental property. Next. Dr. Maria Victoria Macrohon is another advisor of AIDE. She is a school administrator of Coronadal Christian Ivy School Incorporated. She finished her BS in General Science from the University of the East Manila, MA in Education, major in Educational Management from the Notre Dame of Marble University, City of Coronadal, and her degree in Doctor of Education, major in Educational Management from the University of Mindanao, Davao City. An advocate of learning as a lifelong process, she is back to graduate school to finish her thesis for MA in Education, major in Special Education as she continues to undergo trainings in technical vocational courses. Along the way, she received several recognitions and awards as a writer, researcher, and a lecturer or resource speaker, facilitator of trainings. She had received academic scholarships since high school until college. She was a scholar of the Philippines AIDE Agritech project in 1998 for thesis writing and later became a recipient of the International Award in recognition of her outstanding performance in the implementation of the said project. Thus, she was granted a study tour in Australia. She also received an Outstanding Teacher of the Year award from the United Federation of Film Educators Incorporated in August 2019 during the 3-day international summit held in General Santos. The Association Chaplain, Pastor Pet Lapaz. Pastor Pete Lapaz of All Nation General Baptist. He is the president of the All Nation General Baptist Association in Jackson, Florida, married to Mrs. Phoebe Baterbonia Lapaz, and blessed with 2 children and 5 grandchildren. Next. Attorney Trebonian Tabang is our legal advisor. Attorney Bo Tabang earned his Bachelor's of Law at San Beda University in 1981. His first stint was at the Treasurer's Office in Manila. In 1986, he transferred to the Public Attorney's Office of the Department of Justice until he retired in 2005 and started his private practice and joined the Tabang and Tabang Law Offices. He came to the U.S. in February 2020. We still have some more slides.
Ano sir, wala na.
Not miss a name from the list of officers. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The men and women who will serve as parts of the machinery of ideas, initiatives, decisions, activities for the welfare, benefit, and for the good of all the members of the AIDE Incorporated. Guided by the words of Vince Lombardi, the directors and officers believe that the achievements of an organization are the results of the combined effort of each individual. Hence, we commit to working in unity, all for His glory and for the success of AIDE Incorporated. Meanwhile, I am giving you a talented professional. Yes, a talented professional he is. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Ernesto Pamolarco, the Manager for Publications Newsletter Division of AIDE, for a special number. Sir Ernesto.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Sir, we can hear you. Good evening po.
Good
Good morning.
good morning to all our friends there in the Philippines. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat dyan. Magandang gabi dito sa Amerika. I would like to congratulate all the officers. Ang haba nun, ang sobrang dami. At alam ko napagod kayo sa pagbasa, Sir Badu. Sobrang dami. Thank you so much. And can I share my screen? Because I want you to see. Lynn, pwede ba ako mag-share ng screen? Okay, I can share my screen. I'm going to sing this song to everyone, and I hope you will like this song. Let me just share my screen. Let me start here. Share screen. Share sound. In the beginning, the Lord made the earth, the heaven, the hills, and the sea. Then He created the sun and the stars, the land, the birds, the trees. He made all creatures that live in this world and taught them to live by His plan. And as He rested, the Lord sanctified the 7 days. Amen. Molded an image of His Maker, and shall be made of His own. But because we were nothing more than human, sometimes we stumble, sometimes we fall. In the beginning, the world was so bright, perfection was there for all men. So pray and believe in the Lord for life, and we'll have perfection again. Molded an image of His Maker, and shall be made of His own. But because we were nothing more than human, sometimes we stumble, sometimes we fall. Thank
very
you.
much, Ernesto. That was a very wonderful performance. Thank you, sir. Maybe we can
Thank-
ask you to more later.
Thank you. I'm so much honored to become part of this organization, and I would like to congratulate the founder and the CEO of this organization, my friend Lynne Ciocon, and I'm pleased to become a member. I have seen so many officers, very outstanding officers, and I think we can do it together. If we will help each other, we can make it very successful. Thank you.
We now come to the third part of this activity, which is the induction proper for the officers. May we then welcome the Director for Professional Development and the Dean of the Graduate School of CSU Sanchez Mira, Dr. Rodel Francisco T. Alegado, to introduce to us the guest of honor and inducting officer.
Thank you very much, Ber. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, our guest and speaker started as a young leader, being a sangguniang kabataang chairperson of Barangay Matina in Davao City. Then, as a city councilor of the 1st District of Davao City for 3 consecutive terms, and the first action officer for Davao City Council for the welfare of children. Her political career led her to becoming a sangguniang panglunsod, where she instituted many reforms and landmark legislations. Attorney Angging, as she is fondly called, was with the People's Law Enforcement Board for Davao City District 1 from 2001 to 2010, a founding member of an all-lady lawyers firm, the Women in Law Davao City, and has served in various capacities at the board of the Philippine Councilors League, Davao City, Davao Lady Lawyers Association, Senior Consultant for Family Planning Organizations of the Philippines, Luna Legal Resource Network for Women, and Center for Overseas Workers Development, Incorporated. She was a member of the GRP Peace Panel in 2016 to 2018. She has been a government executive, development project consultant, educator, public lawyer, and mentor. At present, she oversees the implementation of all labor employment programs of the Department of Labor and Employment, all geared towards protection and empowerment of our overseas Filipino workers, espousing women causes, and a staunch advocate for children and workers. This lady lawyer is a mother of 4 and one hell of a cook who masters her vegan menu. She holds a bachelor's degree in mass communication and Bachelor of Laws degree, both from the Ateneo de Davao University. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, it is with distinct honor that I give you the Lady of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in Washington, D.C., Labor Attaché of the United States and the Caribbean Islands, the Honorable Attorney Angela Librado Trinidad.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Rodel. Could you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction and thank you for this
You're
invitation.
welcome. You're welcome.
And I also like to acknowledge Saul de Vries, who was a labor attaché before I assumed in January of 2018. Sir, good morning. And to all the members and officers of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated, led by a fellow Mindanaoan, Ms. Lynne Ciocon, Good evening to everyone, and congratulations on your organization and to the newly elected and to be installed officers of this organization. So without further ado, I'd like to ask all the officers to raise their right hand.
Oh shit. Ayun na pala.
And repeat after me. Are we ready? I'm sorry, I cannot see all the people in the screen. Okay. I state your name.
I, Daniel Sulum Jr.
Do hereby
Emeline
solemnly swear
To
do
hereby
by solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution and bylaws of the Association International Dynamic Educators Incorporated,
that I will support and defend
the
the
Constitution
Constitution
of the
and
Association
bylaws
of
of the Association
International
International Dynamic
Educators
Educators
Incorporated
Incorporated
against all odds and foes globally,
against all
against
odds
odds and foes globally,
globally.
that I will faithfully and conscientiously discharge my duties and responsibilities as state your position,
that I will
I will faithfully and
conscientiously
conscientiously discharge my duties and responsibilities
as a
as
director,
Executive Vice President,
and Global Affairs.
Communications, Business Development,
upon which I am entrusted to serve
upon
Upon
which
which I am
I'm
entrusted to
entrusted to
serve,
serve,
to bear true faith and allegiance to its Constitution,
to
bear
bear
true faith and
allegiance
allegiance to its
to its
Constitution,
Constitution,
to advance and uphold the name and ideals of the association,
to
advance and uphold the name and ideals of
and
the
ideals of the
association.
association,
and I take this obligation freely
And
And
I
I
take
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 this
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 obligation
obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any
any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of
purpose of
evasion.
I do further swear
I do
I
further
do further swear
that in all matters concerning the association,
that in all matters
all matters
concerning
concerning
the
the association,
I shall strive to promote the common good
I shall strive to promote the common
good
without fear or favor of any person,
without
fear
fear
in
or
favor
favor
of
of
any
any
person,
to do justice to everyone
and to do justice to
justice
everyone
everyone
in the service of humanity
in the service of humanity
humanity
and for the glory of God.
and for the glory of
of God.
Congratulations, everyone, and let's give everyone a virtual clap. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Maraming salamat po, and again, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Attorney Trinidad. May we also listen to your message for the officers of the AIDE Incorporated.
Thank you for Mr. Verbadu. It always gives us a pleasure to be invited to Filipino based organizations. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Ver. It always gives us a pleasure and honor to be invited to a gathering of Filipinos, especially when these Filipinos gather together not only for a social purpose, but for a gathering or for towards a direction that will lead to enhancing their skills of their members and also giving service to all the communities they want to serve. And I think this is one of the thrusts of this organization. Ang Filipino Overseas Labor Office at the Philippine Embassy will always be here to support all your endeavors. We'll also give online services to all of you whenever you need us based on our limitations and mandates, but you will be assured that all the members of the Philippine Embassy and the Philippine Overseas Labor Office right now are not only young in age, but they are young in hearts, meaning we are innovative. We can easily adapt to changes and suggestions coming from our Filipino community leaders and Filipino organizations. So I know that it is a special challenge for everyone to be forming an organization overseas, but it is also rewarding and comforting to be able to be with our fellow Filipinos. Kasi 'di ba sabi nila, sino ba ang natutuwa pag sinabing at inihilal na best soup in the world ang sinigang at ang adobo ay pinag-uusapan ng iba't ibang version, no? So we converge also because of the food that we miss in the Philippines. So I hope that this organization will be able to fulfill its trust and objectives, and more so will be able to consolidate its members, not only for professional and organizational purposes, but as personal because of your personal relationships as well, no? So sa organization kasi 'di ba, hindi lang yung pag-uusapan yung trabaho, pag-uusapan din yung ating personal. At in our language, sinasabi nilang chismis, no? But it is not chismis actually. It is better for us to be able to know each other very well, know our weaknesses and strengths, because in this particular case, if we have an inventory of all our skills, as well as our weaknesses, we will be able to know how we will navigate and how we will be able to do our activities successfully. So I salute you, and I wish that your organization will go stronger and will be able to render service to a lot of our Filipino communities all over the world. Maraming salamat po at congratulations.
With gladness in our hearts, we sincerely appreciate that heartwarming and encouraging message, Atty. Trinidad. Thank you very much. We also be all ears to the Labor Attaché of the Philippine Embassy in Singapore for his inspirational message. Let us all welcome Labor Attaché Mr. Saul de Vries.
Thank you, Dr. Badu. Of course, I'd like to acknowledge and greet my colleague at the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in Washington, D.C., Attorney Angela Librado Trinidad. It's good to see you, Labat-Angging. I hope to see you in person in the Philippines soon. And it's good to be in the company of old friends, familiar faces there in the DMV area. So I really miss our community there in the US. And of course, I agree with you, Labat-Angging. I agree with what you said earlier, that forming an organization such as this with a very wide international network that includes, of course, the US, the Philippines, I saw Thailand, I saw China, even UAE. It's really hard. It's really difficult to form an organization such as this with a very wide network, and you did it. So that's really a great feat. Let me also greet, of course, Ms. Lynne Ciocon, founder and chief executive officer of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated. I have a long history of working relationship with Ms. Lynne, which goes all the way back to the AFTA and the days in 2011 and the Unified Days in 2016. I remember our Paralan sa Embahada days, our Filipino Migrant Workers Day celebration, our Salindo ng program, and some other projects that we have collaborated on. So it's good to see you still very active in doing developmental work for the academic community. Well, not just in the US, but as I mentioned, also in other parts of the world. So I thank you and I congratulate you for initiating the formation of AIDE, and of course for inviting me to this event. Let me also acknowledge Dr. Ramon Tabang, Chief Operating Officer of AIDE. I recall Dr. Tabang as among those who developed our modules for the Salin Dunong program, which we implemented in Caraga and Corondal a few years ago. I also greet other distinguished newly inducted officers of AIDE, guests, ladies and gentlemen, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat dyan sa Amerika at sa Pilipinas. Magandang umaga po. Ako po ay nasa Singapore. Pareho lang po ang oras ng Pilipinas at Singapore. So, you know, I'm really dwarfed by the presence of so many PhDs in this event. Nakakaliit po, no? To be surrounded by so many experts, PhDs, so many people who have long been in the academic community. But I'm really truly glad to have been invited to this launching of AIDE and its induction of officers. Of course, on a personal note, Lynne's invitation is special because it gives me, you know, the opportunity to touch base again with old friends, even if it is just on a virtual platform. My task this evening, according to the program sent to me, is to give an inspirational message. But I think with so many PhDs around, I think any one of you could be more deserving of being an inspirational speaker. And I'm not really sure if I could do justice to the task, since I'm not known to have an inspiring character. I also believe that success is measured or determined by perspiration more than inspiration. But if I may say, with all sincerity, I think you have done more to inspire me than I would ever be to you. Let me, however, say that I'm happy for the establishment of AIDE. I think it is putting your community on a higher level. I was a policy researcher for almost 15 years before I moved to overseas labor operations. And that is why I got excited when I learned about the vision for which you have founded your organization, and that is to be a publishing platform that allows academic development, exposure, and opportunities for aspiring researchers. Research is good, and there's more to it than seeing one's name printed on it. There's more to it than giving one another credential to be proud of. It is more than that. Research is transformative. I think our journey to transform our society into a better one begins with research. The information and knowledge generated through research could create good products, better services, sound strategies, excellent approaches. In the area of governance, research provides good policy directions. It enables policymakers to make sound decisions. And for those who are in the public service, like myself and of course, Labor Attaché Trinidad, who are in a position to influence policies, we look at research as an indispensable tool to advocating for good policy formulation and execution. So indeed, research is not just about investigating a problem. It is not only about producing concepts and ideas. It is not just about immortalizing a researcher's name. It is about building capacities. It is about creating positive changes. It is about developing societies. It is about creating knowledge that paves the way for a future that is better than the present. Having said this, I'm glad that AIDE has been founded primarily to provide a publishing platform for aspiring researchers within the academic community. My only appeal is that as you embark more empathically into publication of research work, may you always be reminded that the work that you do is not only for academic advancement and exposure, but more importantly, it is for the common good. It is for community development. It is for society's development. And this is aligned to our belief that knowledge should be shared and made available to everyone. As I mentioned earlier, I was a policy researcher in my past life, and therefore I understand that undertaking a research project takes a lot of patience and effort. It consumes a lot of resources and time. But I tell you, it is well worth it. Of course, you have the power of choice. You could choose to do your best and achieve what you have set for your organization to accomplish. Or you could turn away from your goal and be distracted by other agenda. According to Canadian writer Robin Sharma, he said, everything is created twice. First, in the mind, and second, in reality. This only means that what you have envisioned for yourself, and in this case for your organization, should be completed by actions that will bring them into reality. But of course, knowing you, many of you I have worked with in the past, I am confident that this newly founded organization will live to realize its vision. So before I end, let me congratulate the newly inducted officers of AIDE. I'm so pleased to know that you, the members of the Filipino teaching community in the United States, continue to contribute positively to your host country. And of course, to the Philippines, you continue to give back to the origin country, to our country. You have indeed achieved a respectable place in the American society. I have heard and read so many testimonies about our Filipino teachers being described as highly trusted, very capable, and well-liked by their employers and peers. Some time ago, when I was there, I had the opportunity to meet with one of the reputable employers of Filipino teachers in Washington, D.C., and she has requested our assistance then in recruiting additional teachers from the Philippines because in her own words, and this is her own words, Filipino teachers exhibit excellence, professionalism, and high sense of responsibility. So these positive comments make us proud and inspired by these comments, and they help raise the bar of Filipino identity in the United States. And certainly you, the members of AIDE, have played a very significant role in the shaping of positive perception about the Filipino teachers in particular, and the Filipinos in general, there in the United States and elsewhere. So thank you very much again, and good evening to everyone.
Thank you very much, Labor Attaché, Mr. Saul de Vries. We really appreciate the inspiring message you had given us. You motivated us more to achieve in our respective fields and in the field of research as well. We now have the awarding of Certificate of Appreciation to our guest speakers, Labor Attachés, Attorney Angela Trinidad and Mr. Saul de Vries. Let me read to you the content of our certificates for our speakers, guests and speakers. Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Attorney Angela Librado Trinidad, Labor Attaché, in forthright cognizance and sincere gratitude for her well-spent time, support, and knowledge shared in her being the guest and speaker and inducting officer during the virtual grand launching of AIDE Incorporated and induction rites held in Maryland, USA, simulcast via Zoom globally. Awarded via Zoom this day of August 16th in the year of our Lord 2021 from the United States of America. Signed by Mrs. Lynne A. Ciocon, the AIDE Incorporated Chief Executive Officer and Founder. The same certificate goes to Labor Attaché Saul de Vries in forthright cognizance and sincere gratitude for his well-spent time, support, and knowledge shared in his being the guest and speaker during the virtual grand launching of AIDE Incorporated and induction rites held in Maryland, USA, simulcast via Zoom globally. Awarded this 16th of August in the year of our Lord 2021 from the United States of America. Signed, Mrs. Lynne A. Ciocon, AIDE Incorporated Chief Executive Officer and Founder. I guess copies of these certificates will also be sent to our guests and speakers later. Thank you very much, Attorney Trinidad and Mr. De Vries, for gracing this very important occasion for the launching of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated. This time, may we also hear a message from one of the advisors of AIDE. Please welcome Mrs. Cindy L. Shermer for her message.
I was asked by Lenny to give a short encouragement. And so I wanted to speak about don't grow tired of doing good. As we go about our daily lives and try to do what God wants us to do in life, it's very easy to grow tired of doing what is good and what Christ desires for our life. We are all tempted to grow weary. Even Paul, who was probably the greatest apostle, and knew without a doubt what his calling from Christ was, appeared to sometimes struggle with keeping on. In 2 Corinthians 7:5, it states that for even when we came to Macedonia, our bodies had no rest, but we were afflicted at every turn, fighting without and fear within. However, Paul, 2 different times in his letters, tells us to not grow weary of doing good. He tells us in Galatians 6:9, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. And in 2 Thessalonians 3:13, Paul again states, do not grow weary of doing good. When we resist the weariness and push back against it, it can help others persevere. God wants us to not only endure in doing good, but also to help others to not grow weary. In 1 Thessalonians 5:14, Paul tells us to admonish the idle, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak, be patient with them all. God didn't sacrifice his only son to have us do nothing. He means for us to spend our lives doing good. In Galatians 6:10, we're told to do good to everyone, and especially to those who are in the household of faith. To do good to everyone isn't something that just happens. It requires planning, intentionality, and tenacity. You need to have a plan for what you're going to do and then set about doing it intentionally. And when the storms of life come, you have to stay the course. When we are tempted to grow weary, we need to make sure that we're doing good on God's terms and not on our own terms. We need to wait expectantly on God. We need to lean on his promises and trust his timing. Usually, doing good is a slow and methodical process like having a garden. And it isn't fireworks and flashy displays usually. With a garden, you have to plant the seed, keep the weeds out, and fertilize the soil. You also have to water the garden, tend it, and wait patiently for things to grow. Sometimes it's in that waiting time that we have to wait on God and lean on his promises and trust his timing. But when God gives us a calling, he doesn't tell us it's always going to be easy, but he does promise that he's going to be with us through it. We need to not grow weary, but endure through any obstacles we face to do what God wants us to do. We know that he is going to walk with us through it, even when we're weary, and he's going to be there for us every step of the way. And if we can't walk anymore, he's going to be the one that carries us through. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Elshermer, for reminding us not to grow weary in doing good for everybody. Thank you. We also listened to the wisdom of one of the consultants of AIDE Incorporated. Please welcome Dr. Ebrima Nieng.
Dr. Badu, I think Dr. Nieng is on his trip going back home. So can we proceed to the next one?
All right. Thank you, Ma'am. Meanwhile, here is one more woman of strength, of courage, of wisdom, and most of all, a woman of impact. She is a creative force that makes things happen for the development of the people around her. She is Ma'am Babes, as her friends, colleagues, and students fondly call her. Ladies and gentlemen, for her acknowledgement, I give you the Executive Vice President for Professional Development and the Campus Executive Officer of the Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira, Cagayan, Philippines. Please welcome Dr. Narcitas M. Biado I.
Thank you, Dr. Ver. Good morning again, everyone. I would like to start by saying, but thanks be to God. He gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. That's in Corinthians 15:57. Indeed, the grand launching and outtaking ceremonies of the Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated is a small victory for us, but it is a great blessing from him. And I thank God for this day and for this opportunity. In my capacity as the Executive Vice President for Professional Development of AIDE, I wish to thank everyone, the AIDE Board of Directors, the global officers, our members who wholeheartedly dedicated their time, wisdom, effort, and abilities in order to make this activity and the AIDE a reality. Foremost, we are of deep gratitude to the founder and CEO of AIDE, Mrs. Lynne Ciocon. We thank God we met you, my friend. To our guests, Labor Attaché Attorney Angela Librado Trinidad of the Philippine Embassy at Washington, D.C., USA, and Labor Attaché Mr. Saul de Vries of Philippine Embassy in Singapore. Thank you very much for celebrating with us. To the consultants and advisors of AIDE, we deeply appreciate your help for the success of AIDE. Your wisdom will surely guide us in achieving the vision, mission, goals, and objectives of this association. Finally, on behalf of my colleagues from the Cagayan State University, I would like to thank the AIDE team led by Mrs. Ciocon, for making us part of the AIDE. Thank you, Ms. Lynne, for trusting us. Mabuhay ang AIDE. Mabuhay tayong lahat. What are we waiting for? Our work starts now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wano. That was not only an acknowledgement, but also a motivation for all the members of the AIDE Incorporated. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Association of International Dynamic Educators Incorporated. As we commence our exciting journey with AIDE, let us all remember the words of Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning. Staying together